Welcome back to the channel, Rare Coins All World, coin enthusiasts. Today, we have something truly special to talk about, the 1971 Washington quarter dollar. If you've ever found a coin in your pocket change and thought, is this worth anything, then this video is for you. We're going to explore everything there is to know about the 1971 Washington quarter, from its history to its design, and most importantly, what makes it worth so much money. Stick with us till the end of this video, because you'll be amazed at just how much a single 1971 Washington quarter could be worth. Let's start by setting the stage for the 1971 Washington quarter. The U.S. quarter dollar has a long history, dating back to 1796, and over the centuries, it has undergone several design changes. The 1971 Washington quarter is part of a series that has remained largely unchanged since 1932, featuring the iconic portrait of George Washington on the obverse, or front, of the coin. The reverse, or back, displays an eagle perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, a symbol of both military strength and peace. But beyond its classic design, the 1971 Washington quarter holds a special place in coin collecting history due to a few key details. In 1971, the U.S. Mint was in the process of transitioning away from using silver in most of its coinage. Before 1965, U.S. quarters were composed of 90% silver, but due to the rising cost of silver, the Mint switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition starting in 1965. The 1971 Washington quarters were made with this copper-nickel alloy, which was less expensive to produce. So, if you happen to come across a 1971 Washington quarter, you're holding a coin that contains no silver at all, but its value doesn't come from its metal content. No, the true value lies in its rarity, historical significance, and condition. The 1971 Washington quarter isn't a rare coin in terms of how many were made. In fact, the U.S. Mint produced over 1 billion quarters in 1971 alone. The coin circulated widely, and most of them show signs of wear and aging. So, when we talk about the 1971 Washington quarter's value, we're really referring to those that are in excellent condition, as well as the ones that have special characteristics that make them stand out from the rest. One of the most important factors in determining the value of any coin, including the 1971 Washington quarter, is its condition. Coins that have been in circulation for years tend to show wear, scratches, scuffs, and fading of the design. In the case of the 1971 Washington quarter, most of the coins you'll come across are going to be in relatively worn condition. This means they're generally worth only their face value, which is 25 cents. However, if you happen to find a 1971 Washington quarter that is in pristine, uncirculated condition, you could be looking at something much more valuable. Uncirculated coins are those that have never been used in circulation. They retain their original luster, sharp details, and lack any noticeable wear. If you find a 1971 Washington quarter that looks almost brand new, it's time to pay close attention. These coins are much rarer than their worn counterparts, and their value can be significantly higher. While an average 1971 quarter may only be worth a couple of dollars, an uncirculated one could fetch a price that will really surprise you. But it's not just about condition. The 1971 Washington quarter is also notable for the mint marks that appear on the coin. Like many other U.S. coins, quarters produced in different U.S. mint facilities carry different mint marks. The 1971 Washington quarter was produced at 3 different mints: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The most common of these is the Philadelphia Mint, which doesn't have a mint mark. However, the Denver and San Francisco mints added a D and S mint mark, respectively, to the coins they struck. The mint mark plays a significant role in determining the value of a coin, especially in cases where certain mints produced fewer coins than others. While the 1971 Philadelphia quarters are the most common, the 1971 D and S mint mark quarters can sometimes fetch a higher price due to their relative rarity. However, the key to real value comes when you pair these mint marks with a coin in excellent or uncirculated condition, as this can really boost their worth. Now, let's talk about the real excitement: what makes the 1971 Washington quarter truly valuable. In the world of coin collecting, certain rare varieties or minting errors can cause a coin's value to skyrocket. This applies to the 1971 Washington quarter as well. While the coin itself is not particularly rare in its standard form, there are a few varieties and errors that can make a 1971 Washington quarter much more valuable. One such error is the double die variety. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a slight misalignment, causing parts of the design to appear doubled. For the 1971 Washington quarter, this can happen on the letters, numbers, or the features of George Washington's portrait. The doubling effect can sometimes be very subtle, but if you're lucky enough to find a 1971 quarter with a prominent doubling error, you could have something special on your hands. Another type of error to look for is the off-center strike. This happens when the coin is not properly aligned during the minting process, and the design ends up being struck off-center. An off-center 1971 Washington quarter can have part of the design missing or look like it was improperly stamped, which gives it a unique, one-of-a-kind appearance. Off-center quarters are highly valued by collectors because they are rare and can be considered a true anomaly in the world of coinage. Additionally, some 1971 quarters were struck on wrong planchets, meaning they were mistakenly minted on blank coins meant for a different denomination. These wrong planchet errors can make a 1971 Washington quarter even more desirable, and if you find one of these misstruck coins, you might want to get it appraised as its value can be far higher than face value. So, how much could a 1971 Washington quarter actually be worth? If you've got an uncirculated example or one with a rare minting error, you could be sitting on a small treasure. Typically, most 1971 quarters are worth only a few dollars, but if you have a coin in perfect condition or with an error, the value can rise dramatically. The most valuable 1971 Washington quarters, those with rare minting errors or in mint condition, can be worth an eye-popping amount. Hold on to your seats because the most valuable 1971 Washington quarters can sell for as much as $70,000. That's right, $70,000 for a single coin. While not every 1971 Washington quarter will be worth this much, if you're fortunate enough to find one with a rare minting error or in pristine condition, you could be in for a huge payout. So, what's the takeaway here? If you come across a 1971 Washington quarter, don't just toss it aside thinking it's not worth anything. Inspect it closely for mint marks, condition, and any potential errors that could make it valuable. You never know, what seems like just another pocket change coin could be worth a lot more than you think. Today, we have an exciting and unique story to share about a coin that might just be hiding in your pocket change right now, the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. While you may not think twice about a common quarter, today we're diving deep into what makes this particular quarter so special and valuable. By the end of this video, you might just find yourself checking your coin jar to see if you have a hidden treasure worth thousands of dollars. Stick with us as we unravel the fascinating history, design, and most importantly, the hidden value of the 1973 Washington quarter dollar. The Washington quarter dollar has been a staple of U.S. currency for decades, and over the years, it has undergone multiple changes. The 1973 Washington quarter is part of a long-running series that features the beloved portrait of George Washington on the obverse side, or front, of the coin. The reverse side features a majestic eagle perched on an olive branch, a symbol of peace, alongside a bundle of arrows, symbolizing the nation's military strength. The design is iconic and has remained a strong representation of American values for generations. Now, let's take a closer look at what makes the 1973 Washington quarter stand out among the many coins in circulation. The 1973 Washington quarter is a part of the post-1964 era when the U.S. Mint began striking quarters with a copper-nickel-clad composition rather than the silver used in earlier years. This switch was due to the increasing price of silver and marked a major shift in the country's coinage. Therefore, the 1973 quarter, like other quarters from this time, contains no silver. It's made of 91.67% copper and 8.33% nickel, making it primarily a base metal coin despite being produced in the millions. What sets certain 1973 Washington quarters apart is their condition and unique characteristics. Most coins from this year saw regular circulation, meaning they endured plenty of wear and tear from daily transactions. If you've ever received a 1973 Washington quarter in your change, it likely shows the usual signs of usage, scratches, scuffs, and fading of the intricate design details. So, you may be wondering, why would a 1973 Washington quarter ever be worth more than face value? The answer lies in the rarity and desirability of coins in excellent, uncirculated condition. While the mint produced over 1 billion of these quarters in 1973, the vast majority of them circulated heavily, and therefore most of the ones that remain today are not in mint condition. However, a 1973 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition, that is, a coin that has never been used in everyday transactions, can command a significantly higher price. These uncirculated coins maintain their original shine and crisp details, and they are much rarer than their worn counterparts. Coin collectors and investors always seek coins in pristine condition, and the 1973 Washington quarter is no exception. Coins with sharp details, no visible scratches, and clear, defined designs are much more attractive to collectors and can fetch prices far above the quarter's face value. In fact, the value of an uncirculated 1973 Washington quarter can range from a few dollars to much higher, depending on its grade and overall condition. But uncirculated coins are not the only ones that can carry significant value. There are also certain minting errors and variations that can make a 1973 Washington quarter highly desirable and much more valuable. One of the most sought-after error coins in any series is the double die variety. This error occurs when the die used to strike the coin has a slight misalignment or overlap, causing certain parts of the design to appear doubled. The doubling effect can be subtle or more pronounced, and on the 1973 Washington quarter, it could appear on elements of the lettering, the year, or even on parts of George Washington's portrait. If you happen to come across a 1973 Washington quarter with this doubled die error, hold on to it. It could be worth far more than face value. Another minting error to look out for is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not aligned properly in the machine during the minting process, and as a result, the design is struck off-center. An off-center 1973 Washington quarter might feature a portion of the design missing or positioned in an unusual place, giving it a unique look. These types of errors are rare, and if you come across an off-center 1973 quarter, it could be worth significantly more than a regular quarter. Collectors value these unusual coins because they are one of a kind, and they often fetch much higher prices than regular, well-circulated coins. Another important factor when evaluating a coin's value is the mint mark. Like many other U.S. coins, quarters produced at different minting facilities are marked with a letter indicating where the coin was struck. In the case of the 1973 Washington quarter, coins were produced at 3 different U.S. mint locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. The Philadelphia mint mark is typically absent, while the Denver mint uses a D mint mark, and the San Francisco mint uses an S mint mark. While there's no significant rarity tied to any of these mint marks individually, certain collectors may place a higher value on quarters from a specific mint, depending on their overall scarcity and demand. The San Francisco mint typically produces fewer coins than the Philadelphia and Denver mints, so if you find a 1973 Washington quarter with an S mint mark in excellent condition, it may carry a slightly higher premium over its counterparts. However, it's the combination of factors, such as the mint mark, condition, and any potential errors, that can truly increase the coin's value. So, how much is a 1973 Washington quarter actually worth? As we mentioned earlier, most 1973 quarters are still just worth their face value of 25 cents, but if you find one in uncirculated condition, it could be worth between $5 to $20, depending on its grade. However, that's just the beginning. If you come across a 1973 Washington quarter that has a minting error, such as a double die or an off-center strike, the value can rise considerably. Some of these error coins have been sold for hundreds, even thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity and condition, but the true value of the 1973 Washington quarter comes when you combine all these factors: pristine condition, rare minting errors, and scarcity. into one perfect coin. Hold on tight, because the most valuable 1973 Washington quarters have been known to sell for an astonishing price of $85,000. Yes, that's right, $85,000 for a single coin. While this amount is not typical for most 1973 Washington quarters, it's a reminder of just how valuable a rare, error-filled coin can be in the world of numismatics. So, what's the takeaway? Next time you come across a 1973 Washington quarter, don't just dismiss it as pocket change. Take a moment to inspect it closely, check for any mint marks, look for potential errors like double dies or off-center strikes, and assess its overall condition. Who knows? You might just have a coin worth thousands, or even tens of thousands, of dollars waiting to be discovered. Today, we're diving into a coin that you might have seen many times but probably never thought twice about, the 1979 Washington quarter dollar. This seemingly ordinary coin, which has been circulating for decades, may hold a secret. By the end of this video, you might find yourself checking your pockets, piggy banks, or coin jars because this particular Washington quarter has the potential to be worth much more than just 25 cents. Now, when you think about American coins, one of the most iconic and enduring designs is that of the Washington quarter. Featuring George Washington's profile on the obverse and an eagle on the reverse, it has remained a symbol of American heritage and history for generations. But when we focus on the 1979 Washington quarter, there's a twist. This particular coin might seem like just another in the long line of quarters, but some surprising facts and unique characteristics make it stand out in the world of numismatics. Let's first take a step back in time. The 1979 Washington quarter is part of the series that started in 1932 to commemorate the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. This series, featuring Washington's portrait, replaced the earlier designs that were used in previous years. Over time, the Washington quarter has undergone a few design modifications, but the general look of George Washington, as well as the powerful symbolism of the eagle, has remained largely the same. Now, 1979 was an interesting year for U.S. coins, and the quarter minted that year holds some intriguing value. Unlike the early Washington quarters that were made of 90% silver, the 1979 quarters were part of the new generation of clad coins, a mixture of copper and nickel. This was a result of the rising cost of silver, which made it too expensive for use in everyday circulating coins. As a result, the 1979 Washington quarter, like others minted from 1965 onward, was produced with a copper-nickel clad composition. This shift wasn't just about changing materials, it was also about responding to economic challenges while ensuring that the quarter remained a widely circulated and affordable form of currency. But, what makes the 1979 Washington quarter stand out? Well, it's all about condition and rarity. While millions of these quarters were produced in that year, most of them circulated heavily and are now found in a worn state. Like most coins in circulation, the 1979 Washington quarters typically show signs of usage, with scratches, dents, and fading details. This is where the value starts to separate the ordinary from the extraordinary. In the world of coin collecting, condition is key. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are much rarer and far more valuable than their well-worn counterparts. So, if you happen to stumble upon a 1979 Washington quarter that looks like it was just minted yesterday, shiny, with no visible scratches, dings, or wear, it could be worth far more than 25 cents. These uncirculated coins are a favorite among collectors because they retain their original details, like sharp designs and full luster. Even coins that are graded as proof or those that were specially minted for collectors can command higher values, but the value doesn't stop there. Coin collectors and investors also keep a close eye on coins with minting errors or unusual features. Mint errors are one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting, and they can significantly increase a coin's value. In fact, error coins can sometimes be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on how rare the mistake is and how it affects the coin's design. For the 1979 Washington quarter, one of the most sought-after errors is the double die variety. What exactly is a double die? This occurs when the die used to strike the coin was misaligned during the minting process. As a result, parts of the design, such as the date or lettering, appear doubled, or the image looks slightly blurred or ghosted. If you come across a 1979 Washington quarter with doubled die features, especially one where the date, 1979, shows a noticeable doubling, hold on to it. These coins are highly prized by collectors and can be worth many times their face value. In addition to the doubled die, another error to look out for is the off-center strike. This error happens when the blank metal planchet used to make the coin isn't properly aligned during the minting process. When this happens, part of the design can be missing, or the image can appear shifted to one side of the coin. An off-center 1979 Washington quarter can be a very unique find, and it will certainly catch the eye of coin collectors looking for something different. Mint marks are another important factor to consider when determining the value of a 1979 Washington quarter. The U.S. Mint produces coins in several locations across the country, and each mint facility is identified by a letter, known as a mint mark. For the 1979 Washington quarter, there were coins minted at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints. Coins from Philadelphia do not have a mint mark, while quarters from Denver are marked with a D. While most 1979 Washington quarters will come from the Denver Mint, certain collectors place a premium on specific mint marks, depending on the overall rarity and mintage of the coins. Now, you might be wondering, how much is a 1979 Washington quarter worth? Well, for most of the quarters produced in 1979, their value remains close to face value, especially for those that have been heavily circulated. However, if you come across a 1979 Washington quarter in uncirculated condition, it could easily be worth a few dollars, with some coins reaching $5 to $10 or more, depending on their condition. But, if you've got a quarter that features a minting error or is in exceptionally fine condition, the value can skyrocket. So, how much could a truly rare and pristine 1979 Washington quarter be worth? Well, imagine a coin that has retained all of its original design features, perhaps even showcasing a double die error or an off-center strike. In these cases, a 1979 Washington quarter could fetch an astonishing price. Collectors will pay top dollar for these rare coins, and in some cases, they've been known to sell for a staggering sum. Are you ready for the big reveal? Hold on to your seats, because the most valuable 1979 Washington quarters have been known to sell for as much as $90,000. That's right, $90,000 for a single coin. While such prices are extremely rare, they do show the immense value that certain 1979 Washington quarters can carry, especially when they are in exceptional condition or feature minting errors. So, before you dismiss that 1979 Washington quarter as just another coin in your pocket change, take a moment to inspect it closely. Look for any signs of wear, minting errors, or unusual features like doubled die or off-center strikes. The 1979 Washington quarter may be more valuable than you ever imagined, and who knows, your next coin could be worth a small fortune. Today, we have something truly special to discuss, something that may change the way you look at your pocket change. It's the 1981 Washington quarter dollar. While quarters may seem like just another denomination that you toss into your change jar, the 1981 Washington quarter has a fascinating story and hidden potential value that could surprise you. Stick around, because by the end of this video, you may find yourself checking your coin collection or even your everyday change for this hidden gem. The Washington quarter dollar has been a staple of U.S. coinage since 1932, but the 1981 version is particularly intriguing. First, let's talk about the history and background of this coin. The Washington quarter series has long been one of the most iconic designs in U.S. currency, featuring the profile of George Washington, the first president of the United States, on the obverse, front, side. The reverse, back, features an eagle perched on an olive branch, holding a bundle of arrows in its talons. This symbolic representation of peace and strength has endured for nearly a century. Now, the 1981 Washington quarter dollar was part of the ongoing series of quarters minted since 1932, and it holds a special place in the history of U.S. coins. By this time, the U.S. Mint had already moved away from using silver in its quarters due to rising prices and the overall cost of maintaining silver content in coins. In 1965, the U.S. Mint began producing quarters with a copper-nickel clad composition, and this continued through 1981. While the materials used in the 1981 Washington quarter were not as valuable as silver, this coin still represents a piece of American numismatic history that collectors often find fascinating. The most interesting thing about the 1981 Washington quarter is not necessarily its design or materials, but its potential for being a rare and valuable find. Like all coins, the value of the 1981 Washington quarter can vary greatly depending on several factors. One of the most significant factors when determining the value of a coin is its condition. Most of the quarters minted in 1981 were circulated, meaning they have been used in everyday transactions. Over time, these coins became worn, with scratches and other marks showing up on the surface. However, that doesn't mean that every 1981 quarter is worth just 25 cents. The key to unlocking the value of a 1981 Washington quarter lies in its condition. If you happen to find one in pristine, uncirculated condition, meaning it has never been used in daily transactions and retains its original shine and detail, then you could have a valuable coin on your hands. Coins in uncirculated condition are highly sought after by collectors because they still display the original design features clearly and without wear, which makes them far more desirable than their worn counterparts. Uncirculated coins are typically graded based on their quality, and this grading can have a significant impact on their value. Coins that are graded as MS, mint state, are considered to be in excellent condition, with no visible wear. The higher the grade, the more valuable the coin becomes. An MS 65 or higher grade for the 1981 Washington quarter would put it in the range of a few dollars, depending on the specific details and the demand for these coins at any given time, but pristine condition is not the only factor that can determine the value of a 1981 Washington quarter. Minting errors and other anomalies can make a coin even more desirable and rare. Mint errors are one of the most exciting aspects of coin collecting, and they can dramatically increase a coin's value. For the 1981 Washington quarter, some of the most common errors to look for include double dies, off-center strikes, and even coins with misaligned or missing details. These errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and as a result, a coin can have an unusual or flawed design. The double die error is one of the most coveted types of minting errors for coin collectors. It happens when the die used to stamp the design onto the coin is misaligned, resulting in a doubled or blurry appearance in the letters, numbers, and other design elements. If you happen to find a 1981 Washington quarter with a double die error, it can be worth much more than the standard quarter. This type of error is particularly valuable because it's relatively rare, and many collectors are eager to add a double die coin to their collections. Another error that can make a 1981 Washington quarter more valuable is the off-center strike. This occurs when the metal planchet, the blank piece of metal used to strike the coin, is misaligned during the minting process. The result is that the design gets stamped off-center, leaving part of the coin blank and the image shifted to one side. Off-center strikes are highly collectible because they are unique and show a defect that makes the coin stand out from others. If you happen to find a 1981 Washington quarter with an off-center strike, you could have a valuable error coin on your hands. Mint marks also play a role in the value of the 1981 Washington quarter. Mint marks indicate where a coin was minted, and there are three main mints in the U.S., Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Coins struck in Philadelphia typically do not have a mint mark, while Denver coins are marked with a D, and San Francisco coins are marked with an S. While the mint mark doesn't always significantly impact the value of a coin, collectors may be more interested in quarters from specific mints depending on the overall rarity of the coins produced there. The minting facilities also impact the volume of production, which can also contribute to the value of certain years or mint marks. So, how much is a 1981 Washington quarter actually worth? For most 1981 Washington quarters, their value is relatively low, especially if they are circulated or in average condition. However, If you find an uncirculated 1981 Washington quarter in excellent condition or one that has been professionally graded, it could be worth a few dollars above face value, generally in the range of $5 to $20. But the real excitement comes with rare error coins or coins with unique features. The real jackpot comes when you discover a coin in exceptional condition, possibly featuring a rare minting error, a rare mint mark, or even a particularly well-preserved example from the 1981 mintage. In these cases, a single 1981 Washington quarter can be worth much more than you might think. In fact, certain highly coveted 1981 Washington quarters have been known to sell for prices as high as $95,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $95,000 for a single coin. This kind of value is typically associated with error coins, coins that are in near-perfect condition, or coins that are considered particularly rare due to a unique feature. So, the next time you come across a 1981 Washington quarter, don't just dismiss it. Take a closer look. Check the condition, look for any signs of wear, and carefully examine the coin for any minting errors. If you have a sharp eye and a bit of luck, you could be holding onto a coin that's worth far more than just 25 cents.